Those are the trials of a little business, and this is big business or capitalism, and the answer we're going to give to the problem is that capitalism does not exist now. But first we begin, because this is always an educational program, with basic principles, namely, why is there such a thing as private property? Why do we want to own? Why do we want to have things? There are two basic reasons. The first reason we desire to own is because of the poverty of our being. We are a mixture of being and non-being, existence and non-existence. We all come to an end, therefore we're not perfect existence. Only God has perfect existence. Now, because we are imperfect beings, we attempt to fill up this impoverishment of our being by having. We're very much like empty buckets. And the having is something that adds, as it were, to our being. That, incidentally, is why we're very apt to fall into the belief that simply because we have something, that therefore we are something. That also accounts for the fact that we very often consider people to be of great importance when only they're very wealthy. They just have an abundance of goods. You know, God has nothing. In that sense, God is absolute poverty. God is, in that sense, He is absolute riches. Well, that's the first reason for wanting things. And the second reason is related to freedom. There are two kinds of freedom. One is internal freedom, and the other is external. The external freedom is liberty. We're free on the inside because we have a soul. Each and every one of us is a source of responsibility. I am my own. I can call myself my own. Now, is it not fitting that we should have external liberty as well? And what is the best sign of external liberty? Something on the outside over which we have control, just as we have control of ourselves on the inside. For example, the artist wants to own his canvas. The sculptor wants to own his marble. The farmer wants to own his land. Thus, property is the economic guarantee of human liberty. It's a protection for freedom of the soul. Just suppose you wanted to establish a regime, a political system in which nobody would be free. What would you do? What would you have to do? First of all, you'd have to take away any private property, because that would give a man a certain amount of independence as regards his work. And secondly, you would have to destroy his religion so that he would no longer believe that he was free on the inside. That's communism. Communism is founded upon the denial of inner and outer freedom. The denial of God and the denial of private property. The two go together. Well, that's chapter 1. Here's another notion concerning property, and an idea that is very seldom thought of. All property has two aspects or two sides. We must distinguish between the right to property and the use of property. The right to property is personal or individual. The use of property is social. Now let us explain. The right to property is personal. For example, you own your own fishing tackle. You own an automobile. Or you may even own a wine cellar. You can show title, deed, possession. Now, is your right to any property unlimited? May you use it as you please? You may have a right to a gun. May you shoot your mother-in-law? Shoot game out of season? You have an automobile? May you drive it in your neighbor's front lawn or into his front room? You have a wine cellar? May you set up a saloon next to a school and sell it to minors? You see, wealth or property is socially conditioned. It is not absolutely unlimited. Where do economic errors come from? And incidentally, in treatises on economics, this is something you hardly ever see. The only treatise in economics that I know of that really touches fundamentals is Bernard Dempsey's treatise on economics. And that makes a distinction of this kind. Now, as you stand before me, you're a free man. The fallacy of that kind of capitalism was this poor worker was not free to bargain with a man who had all the wealth, and the worker had nothing. That's why the worker had to balance his absence of wealth by an balance of power, namely by organization. Then the capitalist would also tell the worker in those days, why, I knew someone who started driving spikes in the railroad. Now he's president of the railroad. You just work hard. Someday maybe you will be the head of this corporation. Well, it's all very nice indeed for the 1,000th donkey to be given a carrot, but not after 999 die of starvation. Well, that was the old capitalist. Now, was it not natural that there should be a reaction against it? And the reaction came. And what was the reaction? The reaction was, you must emphasize the social use and destroy the personal right. Just as erroneous as this. And who started this system? Communism. It was the idea of Karl Marx. And Karl Marx attacked the capitalistic system, and he argued this particular way. One, he said, the workers are going to become poorer and poorer under the capitalistic regime. They are eventually going to reach a point where all wealth will be concentrated into the hands of the few. It will become so impoverished that they will eventually revolt. And when they revolt, they will seize the industry, confiscate it, take it over, and operate it themselves. And that's one of the reasons, because wealth is not real today, because it's token wealth and stocks and bonds. You've got a false infinite. You've got people making money a new kind of God. You've got a decline of ethics, anything for the fast dollar. This is not real wealth. And the pursuit of the token wealth is what's destroying American life. And America, with all of its wealth, needs to learn that it's not in the abundance of the things that a man has that his life consists. Apropos of capitalism and property, you have often heard it said, you cannot take it with you. Do not believe it. You can. You can take it with you. You cannot take with you what you still keep, but you can take with you what you give away. Because all of that is written down by the recording angel. Their works follow them. So if you'd like to take something with you, send it to me. I'll give it to the poor of the world, and you will have it when you go before the Lord. Thank you. Bye now, and God love you.